just arrived at the swimming pool. Unfortunately, as you've seen in the title, I've picked up a little bit of an injury. I'm not really sure what the extent of the injury is just yet. It's a possible stress fracture in my femur. Basically, over the last week and a half, I've had a bit of a dull ache in my upper quad. And I don't think it's muscle related. When I push down in the muscle, it doesn't hurt. The dull ache is coming much deeper, definitely feels like the bone. So I've actually got an MRI booked in London this evening. So hopefully I'll get a bit more of a diagnosis before the end of this video. But I suspect it's either a stress fracture in my femur or a stress response, which, yeah, is a tough one. Not the best timing. It's now Tuesday when I'm recording this video, and on Thursday, I'm flying out to Kenya, which was going to be a 6-week training camp, but it looks like now it might be a 6-week rehab camp, which is a little bit sad. I can't lie, over the last few days it's been a little bit tough to come to terms with being injured. Touch wood, I've been pretty lucky over the last few years with injuries. So this is probably going to be my first sort of big injury, I suspect, that I've got to overcome. And I'm well aware that with running, injuries are part and parcel of it. Most people who have run for a number of years will have had injuries where they've been out for 6 to 8 weeks, and I think that's probably what I'm looking at for this injury. Obviously it's early days, we'll have to see, but the good news is so far I've had 4 days off running, and I've still been able to cross train without any pain, which I hope is a good sign. I'm going to speak to the physios tonight, and hopefully they'll give me the all clear to continue doing what I'm doing so that I can maintain some level of fitness, and then hopefully the return to run will be a little bit easier. So today will be my second swim here down at the pool. The first one I did with Meg a few days ago. I managed to swim 1 kilometre, which is the furthest I've ever swam. It took me about 40 minutes and I was out of breath, getting overtaken by the older ladies in the pool, which is always humbling. I've never really been a swimmer at all, really. I learnt to swim a little bit as a kid, but I've never swam ever since, so I'm like a fish out of water, if you pardon the pun. So I swam 1 kilometre on the first try. I might even attempt to try and swim 2 kilometres today, but we'll see. That would be a big jump. Maybe 1.5 kilometres, we'll see. But I won't be able to film much in the swimming pool, obviously for privacy reasons, but yeah. Here's to a few weeks of cross training, 2 at the minimum, potentially up to 14 weeks if it is a full-blown stress fracture. Hopefully it isn't, but staying positive at the moment. I can still exercise, I can still get those mental health benefits of exercising, but yeah, I'm going to document the next few weeks because I expect they're going to be quite tough, especially mentally, not being able to do what I love to do. So yeah, Ben is injured, Ben is not running. Let's get in the pool and crack on with the cross training. So I just got out of the pool. I swam 1,500 metres today, which is a whole 500 metres further than my first swim. And my average pace, according to my watch, was 3:30 per 100 metres, which to me sounds like an improvement. My first swim that I did here 2 days ago was 4:09 per 100 metres. So a little bit further today and faster pace, so I will take that. I just find swimming so hard work. It's so unnatural to me. I think I learnt how to swim at like 12, 13 years old at school, and then I never really swam since. So to start swimming now is quite difficult, but there was definite improvement today compared to the first one. I was doing a bit of a combination of breaststroke and front crawl today. But my shoulders and chest get really tired really quickly because I'm just not used to using those muscles in the pool. But it was a good workout. The main thing is it's non-weight bearing, so I'm not aware of any pain in my femur when I'm doing swimming at all, which is great, and I can get my heart rate up a little bit, just keep me active and more importantly keep me sane. 1,500 metres, 52 minutes and 34 seconds of swimming. That'll do me for this morning in terms of cardio. I'm just going to head home, grab some quick lunch, and then I'm jumping on the podcast with the boys at 12:30. So I've got about an hour until the podcast, and we can talk all things running news. If you're not aware, we have a running podcast called The Run It Three Ways. It's me, Callum Elson, and Tom Folan. Both great guys, and yeah, really enjoyed doing that podcast. I think we're on episode 40. on Spotify if you want to go check it out. Run It Three Ways is the name. But yeah, gonna head home, have some lunch, and yeah, chill out. So I just left the house on the way to London for my scan tonight. Exciting times. Recorded the podcast this afternoon. That all went really well. I was just thinking how lucky I am to have both Tom and Callum to talk to on the podcast format. It's almost like therapy, I'd say, and especially when you're going through stuff like an injury, it's really nice to talk to fellow runners who understand like what I'm feeling, because to normal people who don't run, to normal people that don't run, don't realise how big of a deal not being able to run is to runners, if that makes any sense. So the fact that I can't run is a huge deal to me, but to somebody who's not a runner won't fully understand that. But whereas when I talk to Callum and Tom, it's really nice to yeah, get their opinions on it, get their reassurance that I'm gonna be okay. But yeah, gonna head down to London now. It will take me about an hour and a half to get to Paddington. I'm going to a private clinic tonight called Living Room Health, who very kindly offered to give me a scan in exchange for a bit of content. So if you ever have any stress reaction symptoms, anything like that where you think you may need an MRI scan, then yeah, check out Living Room Health. They've helped me out. Hopefully they'll provide a good service tonight. I'll let you know. And yeah, big thank you to them for helping me out at such short notice, because if I couldn't have got this scan before Kenya, I think it would have been a little bit of a shot in the foot, really, not knowing what the injury is. So hopefully tonight we can get a bit of clarity. I can understand a bit more about how I'm going to recover from this injury. Is it going to be 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks? I just don't know at the moment. So yeah, tonight we should get some answers, thanks to the guys at Living Room Health, who are going to give me an MRI scan on my affected area. But yeah, I'll bring you along for the ride. Hello, darling. Ready for date night?
Yeah.
MRI scan time?
How exciting!
Yeah. Hiya, you alright?
You're here for a scan at 6:30.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Lovely. Have a seat. Would
Thank
you like
you.
tea, coffee, water?
So we just finished at the Living Room Health. It was really good. 30 minutes having an MRI scan. Didn't really do much, just laid there as still as I could for half an hour, which is harder said than done for me, as I'm sure Meg will tell you.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a fidgeter, so I managed to stay still for half an hour. And now we just have to wait 48 hours for the results. So my MRI scan today was on my sort of hip area. So it'll be my lower back all the way down to sort of just before halfway down my femur. So yeah, look forward to getting the results, and then I have to get them interpreted. Somebody basically tell me what the results mean, and then I'll be able to know a little bit more about what's causing me the pain when I'm running at the moment. But yeah, really enjoyed going along tonight, very friendly. So yeah, thanks for that, Living Room Health.
The next day.
So it's now been 48 hours since I had the scan, and my results are in, and unfortunately it isn't good news. I do have some sort of stress fracture in my femur. The severity of it is not so sure. Basically I had my hip area scanned. The Living Room Health don't actually do like a full femur scan, so basically the area where I'm having issues with was only just picked up on the scan. As you can see on this image here, this area of white where I've drawn a label, a little arrow, sorry, is where I feel the majority of the pain when I land on that foot, when I'm running, in that quad, very upper of my thigh, and even on the picture it shows it on the outside of my femur bone, which is exactly where I can pinpoint the pain. So I'll read quickly what I got back from the Living Room Health, the diagnosis if you like. So the conclusion was there's a possible edema at the proximal femur, which is at the edge of the film, best visualised on the colonial sequence, series 1, image 10, which is this photo that I just showed you, which may represent a stress response and stress fracture. However, it is difficult to obtain the severity from the images available. The hip joint itself is well preserved. So it wasn't a conclusive, yes, you definitely have a stress fracture. However, based on my symptoms and what the scan shows, to me that was pretty clear that the answer is yes, I do. I've since spoken to 2 specialists, bone specialists, physiotherapists in the field. They've had a look at the scans and both concluded that yes, you do have a femoral stress fracture, and I need to take the next few weeks pretty cautiously in terms of I'll be doing absolutely no running at all, no weight bearing exercises, and I'll just be doing non-weight bearing sort of cross training. But I also need to be a little bit careful with the cross training over the next few weeks not to overdo it, because there is a potential that if I just absolutely smash the cross training, then I could make the injury worse. So I'm going to monitor it over the next few weeks. Definitely no running for the next 2 weeks for me. Looks like potentially 4 to 6 weeks off, but again I will just have to reassess as the process goes on. Some good news is apparently the femoral area where I've got the stress fracture is not a high risk area, which means like it's difficult to make it worse. So if I went for one run, it may not make it worse, it may not make it better, but it's not a really fragile area that needs to be really looked after and nurtured. But that being said, I am going to be super cautious. I'm not got any sort of races in the immediate future. I did have the Telford 10k, which is in about 6 weeks now, but I think I'm going to cross that one off and just focus on getting back for 2024. So in reality, I've got a good 3 or 4 months to rehab this injury. It's going to be one of those sort of injuries where I can build back my running very, very cautiously. It's not going to be a case of I've had 2 weeks off and now I'm fine to just run 100-mile weeks again. So yeah, it's going to be a process. I'm going to document it on here. Today is actually the day we're flying off to Kenya. Myself and my girlfriend Meg are going to Iten, where I trained earlier in the year. The plan was originally a 6-week training camp, but it's now going to be a 6-week rehab camp. But I'm still planning on going. Meg's coming for the first 10 days, which would be really nice. We can have a proper little holiday for the first period. And then for the 6-week period, I'll just be in the gym, in the pool, doing as much as I can to maintain my fitness, but also documenting some of the running culture over in Iten. So if you've got any ideas for content that you'd like to see, so maybe more behind the scenes of what it's like to train in Iten from maybe more a local perspective, I plan to go along to the Thursday fartleks like I did last time. Obviously I won't be doing the running, but if I can get on the back of a motorbike I may be able to make some pretty cool pieces of content. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any ideas of what you'd like to see from Kenya. I can still show you the diet, the training regimes, everything like that, but I just won't necessarily be running myself, at least for the first 2 weeks, probably 4 weeks of the trip. But I'm really looking forward to going still. Basically, a lot of people have asked me, are you still planning to go? And the answer is yes. It was a trip that I funded myself. I think, without going into the nitty gritty, I've probably spent nearly 2.5 grand on the trip for the 6-week period. So it's all booked, it's all planned. So I didn't want to just sack it off and stay at home and sulk about it. I think it would be a really good place to do my rehab. I'll still be surrounded by the running culture, and I've got some good friends that are going as well. So worst case scenario, I can just document their training. But yeah, there will be plenty more videos from Kenya in the next few weeks, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Not necessarily the video that I wanted to make, but I think it's important to share the ups and downs here on social media. Just a few weeks ago, I ran pretty much a half marathon personal best, and then fast forward 2 weeks, I now can't run for a 4 to 6 week period. So yeah, it's important to talk about the ups and downs. If you're going through injury yourself, my advice would be make sure you talk to people, even on days when you're having a good day. I think it's important just to keep the communication with people that are close to you, and also focus on what you can do. So for me, I can swim completely pain-free, so I've been doing lots of swimming. I think I've done 3 swims, and I've had 5 days off running, so I've really got in the pool. I've been doing cross training in the gym with no pain or awareness in my femur, which is great news, so I can still maintain some fitness. Yes, it's not as fun, but yeah, still getting the job done, and I'm going to come back hopefully stronger from this injury, having learned what originally caused it. It's mainly an overuse injury, so it's probably just a case of doing too many races, too many hard sessions back to back, which caused this area of stress in my femur. But yeah, going to document the whole process. I'm blabbing on a little bit here. Thank you for all the support. Next videos will be from Kenya, but I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's yeah, reached out. It's been a little bit overwhelming. Sorry if I haven't got back to you. But yeah, the community has been incredible, so I just want to say thank you. But aspire to run to inspire. I'll be okay, and I'll see you with another video soon. Bye bye.